All right, good morning, everybody, and thanks so much for joining us on this webinar today. I'm Michael Shapiro. I'm the founder of Tap Into. Just to give you a little bit of background, I started Tap Into 17 years ago in New Providence, New Jersey. At the time, I was an attorney in New York, and I was commuting back and forth from New Providence, and we found out that my son, who was one at the time, today he's 18 and he's fine, but when he was one, we found out he needed open heart surgery, and it really made me rethink what I was doing. And I was thinking, how could I do something that would help the community, do something I'd really like to do, and I could actually see my wife and son. So I started an online local news site in New Providence, New Jersey in 2008, and it grew out from there. People in Berkeley Heights and Summit, our two neighboring towns, reached out to me and said, "Hey, we heard about this. Can you start this in our town?" And I did. And I soon found myself running three local news sites myself. I left my job in New York to do it full time. And over a period of years, I started to get more and more requests from people to expand to their communities, but I couldn't do any more tap into sites myself. And so eventually I came up with this idea of applying a franchise business model to local news. And we started franchising at the end of 2013 to people who wanted to start Tap Into in their own communities. And today we have just under 100 Tap Into sites that cover over 150 municipalities. In New Jersey, we have 93 Tap Into sites that cover 145 municipalities. So, in case you're wondering how Tap Into came into being, that's the history of it. I'm very excited about how we've been able to fill the void in local news in our communities and appreciate all your help and support. And it's great to have you on the webinar today. So, today's webinar is about the new state law requirements regarding legal notices and how Tap Into satisfies them if you want to use Tap Into to post your legal notices. So the legislation is S4654, and what it states is that as of March 2026, municipalities must publish their legal notices on their own website, and they can also publish their legal notices on qualifying online news sites and newspapers. And now, why would you want to have your legal notices on a local news site? And the reason is because one, your local news site in your community is getting thousands and thousands of people reading the local news site. So it creates more transparency for your legal notices, more accountability. You want to reach as many local residents as possible. And in addition, it provides third-party verification of your legal notice that it has been published, when it was published, et cetera. Now, what is a qualifying online news site? So here are the requirements from the legislation. You have to be in business for at least 3 years. You have to have at least $1 million in media liability insurance. A local news site has to have at least 4,000 unique visitors per month, and at least 50% of those visitors must be from that community or living within 10 miles of that community. So those are the requirements under the new law. So how Tap Into satisfies those requirements is that we've been in a business 17 years. We have $2 million in media liability insurance. Every Tap Into site in the network averages over 4,000 unique visitors per month, and almost every Tap Into site in the network has at least 50% of its visitors coming from that town or within 10 miles of that town. Now, why would you want to have your legal notices on Tap Into? We already talked about the accountability and the transparency of the legal notices and reaching as many local residents as possible. They're also very affordable. They're only $25 per notice, and that includes, you can include unlimited attachments. The notice can be as long as you want it to be. It's still just $25. Also, you can schedule multiple publication dates and times. And again, it's only $25 for the entire notice. So you don't have to pay every time you want to republish the notice. In addition, you can buy notices in bulk to reduce paperwork. So rather than have to do a purchase order for every legal notice, you can, for example, buy, hey, we want to buy 25 legal notices. Do one purchase order for the 25 legal notices, and just literally just have to do one purchase order. Another aspect is that through our technology, if you want to use it, you can post your legal notice on Tap Into, and it will automatically appear on your municipal website. So you only need to post it one time, and it will appear in both places. And I'll talk about how you can do that in a few minutes. Now, in addition, in terms of the features that the legal notices system on Tap Into offers, we offer multiple publication dates for your notice. You can include PDFs as well as any other kinds of attachments. When you post your legal notice and it's published, it also appears in the next day's morning newsletter. So it's exposed in the morning newsletter in addition to being published on the site itself. And like we talked about, the bulk purchasing and the unique technology that enables you to just post your notice on Tap Into, and it will appear on your municipal website. Now, how do you post it on Tap Into and have it appear on your municipal website? How that works is we can provide you with your own dedicated RSS feed of the legal notices that you post on Tap Into. Then you would provide that to whoever handles your website, and you can configure that RSS feed any way that you wish. And you can add the RSS feed to your site search results. All of that should take under an hour to do. Our developers tried doing it on one municipal website, and it took 15 minutes. So it's a quick process, and once it's done, it's done. But once it is done, you could post your legal notice on Tap Into, and it will automatically appear on your municipal website, so you don't have to post in multiple places. Um, Here's an example of how the RSS feed, how you can structure your RSS feed. You can structure it so that it has links to the notices on your website that would take you to the notice on your local Tap Into site. You can set it up so that you can download a PDF of the legal notice right from your own website. So in that case, it wouldn't take people to the legal notice on Tap Into. People could just download the legal notice right from your website. You can do both. You can do one or the other. You can structure the RSS feed any way that you want. But I wanted to give you an example of how you could do this on your own website. Now, in terms of the legal notice, when it's published on Tap Into, it tells the reader when it was submitted, the exact date and time, and when it was published, the exact date and time. So you have a record of when you submitted it as well as when it was published. All the legal notices are guaranteed to be published within 24 hours unless you select otherwise. So, for example, when you upload the notice, if you say you want it posted on November 17th at 2 o'clock, it'll be posted on November 17th at 2 o'clock. The default is that it's published within 24 hours. Now, in terms of the notice, this is how the PDF looks. Basically, it includes the entire notice, including all the attachments. So in this case, the Patterson Public Schools posted a notice, and this image on the left is the notice that they published. On the image on the right is the PDF that they attached to the notice. And so when you download the notice, it includes the entire notice as well as the entire PDF or Excel spreadsheet or whatever document you upload with the notice. In terms of how to do this on Tap Into, so basically it's a pretty simple process. You go to your local Tap Into site, you click on Login, you create an account. You confirm that account by email. You'll get an email that asks you to confirm your account. That makes sure that we don't have bots or hackers or anything that have accounts on Tap Into. And then once you confirm the account, you click on Submit Content, that green button that you see here on the upper right. And from there, you click on Legal Notice. You get a menu of options and you click on Legal Notice. And like I mentioned, legal notices are $25 per Tap Into site. That includes multiple publication dates and times. So your next step basically would be to click on the county where your town is located, and then select the Tap Into site that is from your town. And after you do that, you create an entity. Once you create an entity, once you do it the first time, you never have to do it again. So the entity would be, for example, your borough of X, or the X town public school system, whatever it is. But once you create an entity, and then you use this create an entity form, where it also enables you to, if you want, upload your own logo which you can then select to have published with your notice if you want to. But you fill out the legal notice entity form. That's only done one time. And then you fill out your legal notice. So you're going to put in your headline. You can select whether it should be published immediately, which means within 24 hours, or you can schedule publication, and you can schedule as many publication dates and times as you want for the notice. I know that there are notices that have to be published 2 times. There's even some that have to be published 3 times. So you can add as many scheduled publication dates and times to your notice as you want. Again, it's $25 for the notice, regardless of how many publication dates and times you select. You put in the description area whatever you want to include about the notice. You can hyperlink, you can bold, underline, italics. And then you can choose to display either the logo from your entity that you put that if you uploaded one on the entity creation form, or you can leave that blank and then it's just going to say tap into legal notice when it's published on Tap Into. After that, you can also add photos to your legal notice if you want to. So for example, if say it's a zoning board and there's a resident or developers coming forward with a plan to add condos in your community, you can actually upload the architectural drawings. You can add whatever kind of photos you want. You can even upload video. So for example, and in most of your cases, this isn't relevant, but you can embed video from like YouTube or Vimeo. So say, for example, it's there's somebody that's coming forward that wants a fence raised. They can, you can select, and there's a video of that, how the fence currently looks. They can upload that YouTube video or that Vimeo video to their legal notice. Here's where you can upload as many documents as you want to upload. You just click on Browse Files. It'll open up your hard drive. You can select whatever documents you want to upload to your legal notice. PDFs, Excel spreadsheets, really any document type. After that, you just click off, you agree to the terms of service, and then you can preview the notice so you can see what it's going to look like before it goes live. You can save it as a draft and come back to it later, or you can submit and check out. When you submit and check out, you can select to pay by purchase order, and then you fill out the purchase order form and submit, and you're done. So that's the option most of you will be taking, is to pay by purchase order. Now, if you did a bulk purchase where you say you bought 25 notices, you won't even get this screen because the system is smart enough to know that you have 25 legal notices for your Tap Into site. And so you won't even get to a payment area. Once you submit and there's no payment screen if you do it by bulk. If you do it by bulk as well, it will notify you how many notices you have left. And so you always know how many notices you have left so that when you run out or you're getting close to run out, you can buy more if you want. But if you're just doing it and you're paying, you're using one purchase order for every legal notice, you would pay by purchase order and submit, and then you're done. You can also pay by credit card. So for those of you who are on this webinar who aren't from a public entity, you're going to likely pay by credit card. So you would select Pay Now and then put in your credit card information, and you're done. Now, when you submit, you're going to get the submission. You're going to get the submission confirmation with when it was submitted, and also you're going to get the publication date and time of the notice. You're going to get that via an email. And in that email, it's also going to enable you to download a PDF of the legal notice right from the email. So that way you can save that to your files and you have a record of the legal notice that you submitted, including its publication date and time and its submission date and time. Like I mentioned, you can buy as many legal notices as you'd like. You can do them one-off, like I showed you, or you can buy them in bulk. And to buy them in bulk, you can reach out to your local Tap Into publisher, or you can just email legal notices at Tap Into, and then we can help you. Basically, what we would do is you would just tell us how many you want to buy. You would do a purchase order for that amount. And then we would set you up in the back end with that number of legal notices and your account, and then you can start posting whenever you want. So I wanted to pause and see what questions people might have and thoughts, and really appreciate your time today. Feel free to unmute yourself or ask in chat, whatever you feel more comfortable doing. I should also mention we have one more of these informational webinars that we're going to hold. It's going to be December 10th at noon. So if there are other people in your office that you'd like to have see this, by all means, that you can invite them to the December 10th webinar. Also, what I'll do is after the webinar today, I'll send out the recording to all of you as well as this PowerPoint. So you'll have that. So you'll have that in case you want to share it with people as well. Let's see, I think we got one chat here. How do we receive proof of publication? How does that work? And what is required by the statute? Yeah, thank you, Cynthia. So with the new statute, if you're publishing online, this is as of March 2026, there is no affidavit of publication required. The proof that you'll have from us is one, obviously, on the legal notice itself, it tells when it was submitted, when it was published. And second, you're going to get an email with a link to the legal notice. And in that email, you'll also be able to download the legal notice as a PDF and have that as proof as well, which will also tell you the date and time you submitted the legal notice, as well as the date and time it was published. So you'll have proof of publication. Did that answer your question, Cynthia? Sure, you're welcome. Other questions or comments people have, you can unmute yourself or ask in chat, whatever you feel more comfortable with. Does anybody have any other questions or any thoughts that they'd like to share? You can unmute yourself or you can ask in chat. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the webinar today. Really appreciate it. Reach out with any questions that you might have, and hope you have a great rest of your day. And I'll send out this recording in PowerPoint today as well. Thanks so much, everybody, and have a great day.